price has now left a huge liquidity target it needs to fill. And this is exactly what we saw when price came back over here. Look at how price filled this area. So you can see how I'm starting to trade liquidity. I use the daily, weekly, or monthly personally to look for liquidity because I like to trade bigger moves.
Started from the bottom like Drake. Got that young moolah, but I learned my mistakes. Climbing up the ladder, gotta watch out for the snakes. If you wanna be the boss, then you have to delegate.
Hello guys and girls and welcome back. It's your boy Big John. That's at the bottom of the screen if you like to listen to my music. So is all the relevant information I'll be speaking about in this video. And today what I'm going to be showing you is liquidity and how I use liquidity when trading. Now of course there's a much bigger explanation on what liquidity is, and you can easily just check that up on Google, you know, if you check out trading liquidity. Also, if you haven't already checked out the new Trinity alert system that has dropped, which is Telegram alerts for scalping trade, day trades and swing trades, then I definitely suggest you do. This is how the system actually looks in Telegram. These are some of the trades that actually did appear today as well. And with all that being said, let's move straight on to the video. Okay, so to make it nice and simple, I am showing you liquidity with gold. I know people like to trade gold a lot, so I thought why not just make a video on gold explaining liquidity. This happens on pretty much every trading instrument. I'm just showing you gold again because a lot of people do like to trade gold. So what we can see here, I'm going to go through every single time frame so you can understand the definition of what liquidity is and how it's occurring in the market, or at least how I see it. And liquidity, what I like to see a lot of the time is when price action leaves wicks behind in the market, and then what it wants to do after that is price action will go and cover these wicks once it chooses to do so, or if it's heading in that direction. So what we can see here on the 1 minute time frame, I have boxed it out, as you can see price action started to form a downtrend because we started to see a lower high over here, and then with that we saw when price action did get to this point here is it did leave a massive spike liquidity wick at this point. Now what you do see when this happens is that if price decides to start selling again, it will go towards that area. So it's almost an idea of seeing, you know, in the future what price action can do. There's no guarantee it has to go to this liquidity, but it can choose to go towards there if it's heading there. So we can see price action started to sell down towards this area right over here and went all the way down to here. So now let's head over to the 5 minute time frame. So now we're on the 5 minute time frame. Like I said, it happens on every single time frame. We can see there's a liquidity wick here. The same type of thing did happen. We saw price action get to a point where it found a resistance, then price action wanted to start to sell. When it did decide to sell, what did we see price action do? It went to go cover this liquidity wick over here as price continued to sell down. Now when we go to the 15 minute time frame, we can see an image of liquidity right over here as well. We can see there was a liquidity wick left over here. Once price action did get to a top and wanted to sell, then what did we see in the future? Price action went to go cover this liquidity. So we can see it's over here. Price bought all the way up. After it bought up, it went all the way back down. But where was a nice target level for us to find? This liquidity here that it wanted to go cover in the future. So you can already start to see how bigger trades start to occur once liquidity is on higher time frames. And as we go further and further up, you're going to see why I use the higher time frames in order to see liquidity. On the 30 minute time frame, we can see the same thing here. So within this same box, we can see this liquidity is even bigger on the 30 minute time frame. So not only on the 15 minute time frame did you have a confirmation of liquidity here for a possible target area of where price action can go, you saw also on the 30 minute time frame that price action could go towards this area. So that was another confluence of, you know, a possible sell down towards this support level. And this is amazing. Once you start to see liquidity building up like this was 3 time frames worth of confluences to tell you that price action can go towards this area. So now we're on the 1 hour time frame and we can see the liquidity that was left here. So again, once price action did buy up and wanted to sell down, we can see that price action had a 15 minute area of liquidity here, a 30 minute area of liquidity here, and it also had a 1 hour area of liquidity down at this zone here. So when price action was buying up, it was a perfect reason for price to go back towards this area if it needed to do so, and that was the plan they had, which they clearly did in the market. So again, you can see how it gives you almost a foresight, so you can see forward into the market of where price can go in terms of if the move starts to go towards that direction. And now when we head over to the 4 hour chart, this is why this box is here. So within this area, you can see there was a lot of liquidity getting left behind, and now we can see that from down here all the way up here was where price bought towards, but when it did that, it left the liquidity spike down here. So now what we're seeing the market do is when it did that same reversal, notice how you would have been able to see your TP1, your TP2, almost a TP3 like this. So now you can see when the market got down to a certain point, so you had a TP1 here, TP2 here, and now you possibly have a TP3 in terms of ideas of where the market can go with liquidity. So on the 4-hour time frame, we can see, look at the candles now, they're pushing with force back down to go and cover what? So we can see exactly where price is right now, and it's covering this liquidity it left behind here. So people do understand what it is. Liquidity is like money left behind in the market. So what they're going to do is they're going to go and grab this by moving price towards that area. They'll either do it fast or they'll do it in some type of format of creating higher lows or lower highs to go towards there. And as we can see here was a lower high and a continuation of a push down towards that area. Now we're looking on the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we can see there was a liquidity right over here that was left, and this was a trade I actually called out. I told every single trader in my Discord group that, you know, once price action did leave a liquidity here, there's a possibility if it finds a support, it can continue to buy up. And here's the evidence of that. On the 25th of February, I actually gave out this information. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is a free area in my Discord where if there's any trade ideas, I will put them in there. So if something I'm looking at myself and people can have a possibility of trading, I will put them in there. And you can see here it says price is currently holding at a support level, which it failed to break yesterday. With the heavy rejection of the strong resistance level at 1973, price has now left a huge liquidity target it needs to fill. And this is exactly what we saw when price came back over here. Look at how price filled this area. So you can see how I'm starting to trade liquidity. I use the daily, weekly, or monthly personally to look for liquidity because I like to trade bigger moves. Now, when we go over to the weekly time frame, you can see the liquidity is right over here. So the liquidity was over here and price took however long it needed to go and grab this liquidity. This is why I tell people you have to be patient when you're trading the higher time frames and don't expect liquidity to go somewhere straight away. So here was liquidity and here was liquidity, and eventually they covered, look how they covered that first liquidity there, and then the push up all the way to this level up here was when they covered the second liquidity going in towards February of this year. So this is how they covered that, and this is how long it can take on a weekly time frame. Now, one of the biggest reasons why they could have pushed the market all the way up here is because look on the monthly time frame, look at the liquidity left behind over here, a massive wick. So we saw price action all the way through a period of a year pretty much go back up to this level because there was a huge liquidity left when price on gold hit the all-time high. So they went back to go cover this liquidity before the sell. And when this did occur, this is why I was telling people, this is why I'm trading gold for a possible sell, and why I was looking at a sell on gold, and why I was giving out in February ideas of a sell, and I'm still in my gold trade from here, holding it to go down. Now, why am I expecting it to continue to sell? Because we can see there's a liquidity area right over here. So back in August of 2021, they left this massive spike on the monthly time frame and the weekly as well. You could see it. So my idea is that, you know, if they are going to sell and they do want to continue to sell towards a support level, here's a good area for them to go cover this liquidity, find a support here, and then continue to buy back up. They can break this area, as you can see the liquidity down here, but we'll take that as it goes and we will trade our risk management, which is our risk to reward ratio, as the market gets towards this level. And this is when I'll be looking for a buy on gold. So with all of that being said, I hope you do understand what I'm talking about liquidity. You can see how I trade liquidity as well, and I hope it does help you in the market. Please, guys and girls, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. It's your boy Big John, and I'm out. Peace.
Started from the bottom like Drake. Got that young moolah, but I learned my mistakes. Climbing up the ladder, gotta watch out for the snakes. If you wanna be the boss, then you have to delegate.